this lovely May Day. Back for the second time, Dr. Linda Papadopoulos. And author, and working hard on Netflix, doing some extraordinary work about that.
One of the shows I'm doing is called Autopsy, and it kind of looks at the final days right before a very famous psychological autopsy. So I look at what that leads up to explaining why people ended the way they...
I guess, but more about that later on.
Very good.
Any more sixes there, Linda and Susie?
Well, we also found lanner.
The falcon with the dark brown back and a buff cap. Find it in the Middle East and Africa.
That's it?
That's it.
Thank you. Rewards.
Very good.
Rewards as well.
Well done.
But we also found an 8. We found airwards.
Yes, airwards means the same as airward, upward, towards the air, in other words. It's a nice adverb. You can indeed be a loather. Yes, if you detest something enough, you are a loather.
I found lather, which was one off of loather.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Halter, otherwise anagram of that, but loather was our top.
Sixes.
Yeah.
Can we beat it, I wonder? Linda?
We can. We got the human genome and emoting, which, as a psychologist, I speak about a lot, showing emotion.
Owning, which I guess is all about body image, but you've got something that you're interested in.
Yeah, this is one of, I guess, my favourite experiments ever spoken about. An early professor told me about this study. It was quite famous. So what they did is they took a group of people. They wanted to look at the effect of facial disfigurement. And they said to them, we're going to get you to go outside and hand out leaflets. But before we do, we're going to get in a makeup artist who's going to put a scar on your face. Now, you're not going to see yourself, but we want you to go out and so they go out, they hand out leaflets, and they come back, and they're like, well, what happened? They're like, it was awful. People wouldn't stand near us. They wouldn't. I could barely hand out half of them. It was a really awful experience being out there with this. I was going to get the makeup artist back in to remove the scar. Again, you're not going to see yourself, but you're going to go outside, trying to hand out these questionnaires, but with your normal appearance. They said, brilliant. Is it? They said, brilliant. I handed them all out. I got a couple of to me. They looked at me in the eye. They said, great. Now we need to tell you something. You looked exactly the same, both at time 1 and at time 2. We lied. You never had a scar on your face. And to me, that epitomizes what body image is. Perception of how we look. Rather, it's a subjective notion of how we think we're perceived by others. So when I work with people with body image disorders, what we try very much to do is look at those self-fulfilling to not like me because of the way that I look, and I probably will act in such a way so as to bring it about. And this is what was happening in this study. They were looking down, they were covering their hair, they were mumbling. As soon as they felt they looked good, they stood up, shoulders back, they smiled. And so one of the most powerful things I think we could do for ourselves as individuals and parents out there for their kids is to teach this idea of having this sense of confidence in who you are, because if you can find something you like in yourself, then that's what you'll project. Yeah, it was a professor back in Canada who, again, that was one of the reasons I got into the area, and this idea of subjectivity around it is fascinating. And this is it. I worked in this area for years, and some of the facial cancer patients I see have better body image than some of the models that I see, because it's about what I think I should be, what I ought to look like. And again, we live in a world where the visual is so important. We're constantly taking pictures of ourselves and posting them that I think we've got such a ridiculous idea of having to reach this perfection that we forget to kind of just, savor who we are.
Smile.
Is that right? Get you practicing to do.
Susie.
You're still conscious of it. Well, this is it. And the thing is, if you don't challenge that, you never get out of those, those patterns of behavior. So a big part of getting out of them is coming out of your comfort zone. We'll speak at the break. I'll get you smiling.
I'll make it a point. Thank you.
Yes.
Same over there?
The verb. No, we were having a discussion as to whether it's a noun or a verb, and we were preferring the verb sense.
Yeah.
The dance.
The dance. We just got a 7 as well, slander.
And yes, learned. They were our 7. Both as an adjective and a noun. So you might talk about pre-game ceremonies, for example. Yes.
Not bad.
We just found meagre. That's the other 2. Yeah, the same.
Pre-game was the best, yes.
The same. We found deletion.
Same thing?
Work together. They will often harness them together with a bar or wooden frame, which meant to join. That gave us jump, symbolising Roman dominance and indeed humiliation. The soldiers were each forced to committed a murder. They too would be forced. But from an English point of view, for us today, because the Romans termed the humiliating experience sub jugum, which meant under the
around, do you think, Linda and Susie?
Yeah, we found. I found devoid, but that's only
of a middy with a Y, midshipman at sea.
Linda.
Yes, well, we found teacup for a 6.
Yes.
Yes, and cap.
To Linda and Susie. That was a close run thing. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a pleasant evening. What do you reckon?